you're buying a house and you finally made it to closing day. What happens on that day? In this video, we're going to talk about it in detail. But before that, I'm a realtor. I'm not a closing specialist. I'm not a loan officer. I'm simply here to provide value for anyone who's interested in learning more about this topic. So what do you need to bring to closing day? Well, you need to bring a valid ID, just so they know that you are you and you're not someone else. And also, if you haven't paid your closing costs yet, you need to bring a check to pay for that. And you should have received a closing disclosure 3 days before closing to understand, in detail of all the numbers that's going to happen at closing day, like loan amount, closing costs, and all that stuff. So usually what loan officers like to do is have you wire that money before closing just so there's no hiccups, okay? So now you understand you need to bring an ID, and if you didn't pay your closing costs by wire from your loan officer, if you haven't done that, then you need to bring a check for closing costs, and you understand how much that money is because you've gotten a closing disclosure probably in your email 3 days before closing. Okay, and now it's game time. Lots of signing. So there's lots of papers to sign, and I put lots, ... because there's a lot of stuff to sign. So what are some of those things that you need to sign? Well, one is a promissory note. So what is a promissory note? It's basically you signing that you promise to pay back the loan to purchase the house. I don't want to dive deep into too much detail about it because, like I said, I'm just a realtor. I'm not any of the other specialists that we just talked about. And also some mortgage documents, just outlining the principal and the interest. And they'll also probably give you an amortization chart, which is like a chart of 30 years on here, and the interest rate and how much you'll pay down over time. And it also could kind of set up a game plan, like, you know what? If I put an extra couple $100 a month to my mortgage, well, then I can maybe slash off some years. So it's good to have a conversation like that as well. So now you understand some of the things that you're signing is a promissory note, potentially probably some mortgage documents, and this is for someone with a loan. If it's cash, well, then obviously you don't have mortgage documents, okay? And also talk about some insurance stuff. So they'll go over some mortgage insurance, they'll go over some homeowners insurance, and they'll also go over some title insurance. And like I said, I don't want to dive too much in detail, but those are some of the insurance things that they'll talk about and probably have you sign as well. So lastly, the deed. So what is a deed? The deed is what conveys ownership from the seller to the buyer. Okay, so the seller, signs off on that. They're giving you the ownership, the deed. So now the deed's in your hand, and now after signing, you get the title. Okay, and yeah, that gives the buyer's title. And there's also some miscellaneous stuff, like you can understand your home warranty policy number and a lot of stuff like that. A lot of paperwork you also need to sign is just so title isn't hold liable in case there's a problem with maybe using your title insurance and they find back there's maybe an error. There's stuff like that they'll have you sign as well. So all in all, it's pretty simple because usually most of the stuff is already taken care of. Like, the closing costs, you should have wired that already. You understand what you need to bring, and you pretty much understand, the interest and stuff like that. And also, they want to make sure you didn't take out any loans, anything. Like, did you buy a new vehicle last week or anything like that? So if you learned something, please subscribe if you're on YouTube. Follow and like if you're on another platform. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. Bye.